One Piece Season 7. I personally wanted to get through this season so much, so quickly, but I couldn't. It actually took me about 6 months to get to this season. I've stopped, watched it, because I've seen this before, and I'm doing it for my review channel. I stopped and watched it, pick it up, put it back down, pick it up, put it back down. After I finished G8, then I went to go watch Call Me Can't Communicate, went to go watch The Time I Get Reincarnated as a Slime, to Patreon request, and then came back, finished the Davy Beck fights with the Foxy Pirates, and then actually finished all the way through because one of my favorite characters shows up at the end of this season, Aokiji, who is one of the admirals of the Navy admirals or the Marine admirals, if you're watching this series, and he's one of the top dogs, one of my favorites. I love a character with ice powers. If I could have superhero powers, power of ice would be my power. That would be my go-to. So anytime you get an ice character, freaking love him, and he is one of the best. Aokiji is one of the best. And this season, only 33 episodes, but it felt like a struggle to get through. And on this episode, and probably because I know what's coming up next. I know what's coming up next will be one of the most, considered one of the most iconic arcs in One Piece. But before I can talk about that iconic arc in season 8 and possibly 9, I have to talk about G8 and the Davy Beck fights. On this episode, a movie breakdown, series review. But before I hop into it, if there's a series you want me to watch, an anime you want me to watch, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I get to as best I can. Also Patreon.com/AliZakka for $2 a month. Get a cut in front of everybody, get your review out way before it come out on Facebook and YouTube, and I get it out there for you guys. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode, One Piece Season 7. And the main gist of this season is that we just finished the Inaru Skypiea arc, and the first 10 episodes are going to be filler, but it's probably one of the best fillers you'll ever watch in One Piece. The G8 Navy base filler is really good. So what happens is the Straw Hat crew, as they're leaving Skypiea, they're attached to this octopus, and the octopus deflates and drops them in the middle of a Navy base. And the Straw Hat pirates split up, and they gotta find a way to get out of this Navy base called G8, which is considered one of the most impenetrable bases of all time. It is a Navy base that was stuck inside I wouldn't call it a volcano, but more stuck inside a rock formation that has a miniature, like, it's just like a giant rock formation that's covered part of the ocean. So it's a rock formation that circles around the ocean. There's a giant circle into it, and the Straw Hat crew has to try to get out of this, escape from G8. It's some good stuff that happens in G8. It's all filler though, but you get to see characters shine that you probably don't get to see them shine other places. Like Chopper and Nami become doctors, and they actually, well, Chopper is a doctor, but they work on patients to heal Navy or Marine troops. Nico Robin pretends to be an admiral not an admiral, but a Navy general at one point, and yeah, all these shenanigans going on. Sanji and Luffy cook, and Sanji hits on the head Marines, generals, the head of the base, hits on his wife, and she's like, how can a pirate be so good at cooking, and learns all this stuff. It's a lot of good moments that happen in the G8. It's just 10 episodes long, and once you get out of G8, you get to one of my favorite parts of this season. It's Davy Beck fights with the Foxy Pirates. And the reason why it's so iconic to me is that Luffy gets an afro. You get Afro Luffy in this arc. And what happens with this one, they come across the Foxy Pirates, and the Foxy Pirates challenge anybody to a duel. But it's like kind of carnival games, Olympic games, racing stuff, like tug of war, soccer, a bunch of just random games they have to play. And if you lose these games, you lose your crew members, or you lose your whole flag and your crew disbands. So Luffy never turned down the fight because one of his friends were captured. He challenges the Foxy Pirate and Davy Beck's pirates. He challenged them, and the first time they win, but Davy's like, hey, we need to run this back. He's like, you think you that good? Run it back. And Luffy's like, bet. Pretty much, and it puts the Straw Hat Crew back in a situation where Robin and Chopper gets taken. But one of the cool things about this, you can see Nika Robin use her brains and tell the crew like how to, work their way through challenges. And you see like Usopp and Nami do things, and Sanji and Zoro who just fight against each other all the time. But you get to see all these things that happen with the events, and it's not like any other episodes of One Piece where you don't get. It's not like fist fighting. They're playing a game of soccer, and they have to find a way to win this game without knocking out the other person, kind of thing. Like details like that, where you're like, this is very different. It's a unique way of characters struggling, but at the same time, it still captures the essence of One Piece and the whimsical and just the random things that happen in the world of One Piece. Is all here. It's not far-fetched. It's not like, all right, we're just fighting a dude, a crocodile in sand. Now we're here playing soccer and tug of war and boat racing. Like, I love it. It's a breath of fresh air after watching Skypiea and watching G8. That I love it. And it comes down ultimately to a fist fight between Davy Beck, the Foxy Pirates, and Luffy, which the two pretty much Davy back fights, I could call them back, but Davy back fights where they just go all out in a fist fight, and Luffy end up winning because Davy, he has a slow fruit where slow beam, where if he shoots this beam at you, you slow down for 30 seconds. Well, Luffy and him was punching, he hit Luffy with slow beam, but Luffy had a mirror and it bounced it back at him, and Luffy, because he's strong as heck, just knocks out Davy and sends them flying. The Straw Hat Crew wins. The Fox Pirate kind of gets disbanded. Then you get a little more filler episodes, which I didn't mind. I actually enjoyed this filler episode. I was curious how it's going to play out, where the Straw Hat Crew loses their memory because of a mystical seahorse who wanted their memories to make himself bigger so he can become a dragon. Another filler arc that happened in season 1. But he wanted to become a dragon, and the Straw Hat Crew is kind of trying to regain their memory back to order to beat him. Which Nika Robin's the only one who doesn't lose her memory because she didn't fall asleep, but everybody else does. So she's kind of the one person who doesn't care about the crew as most, trying to get everybody together and keep them together for all their own reasons. But you have like Nami run away because she don't want to be a pirate. Usopp loses his courage. Sanji like, who the heck are y'all? Zoro leaves because he's like, there's no rhyme or reason why I need to be with you guys because I'm not a pirate. Nami's like, I hate pirates while I'm here. So they kind of had to learn to get the memories back in order to get all the things that transpired, like why they are on the Straw Hat ship. I just like that idea. That was a cool little filler. And then you get my favorite piece after they get the memories back, defeat the seahorse. Aokiji shows up, who pretty much was there just to say like, hey, I'm just keeping my eye on this Straw Hat, not really here to fight. And like Luffy and the gang hang out with him a little bit. They save a bunch of civilians and get them on going. And then Aokiji's like, yeah, I'm an admiral. I probably should do my job. I really don't want to. But Luffy, you're like your granddad. Your granddad does crazy stuff. Nico Robin, you're considered one of the most dangerous people in the world. I guess I probably should eradicate y'all. And he attacks the Straw Hat Crew. And Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji is one of those few moments of the early days of One Piece, or pre-time skip of One Piece, where the characters are on the losing end of a fight. Like, you see how strong the Marines are. Like, he's one of the top 3 dogs, and he just lays waste to Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy without even, like, breaking a sweat or breaking a chip. He's ice. Bad joke. But anyway, like, the man doesn't break a sweat, and he also takes out Nico Robin. And then, because Luffy is like, hey, you challenge me. If you win, you do whatever you want. If I win, you leave us alone. And Aokiji's like, all right, I take your fight. I take your challenge. But because Luffy gave it his all but still lost, he gets frozen. Aokiji like, oh man, you trapped me because I go against attack your crew. I kind of like defeats you win this fight because I told you I wouldn't run away and I'm not dead and you're not dead yet. He goes, well, I'm gonna with a warning. Nico Robin's dangerous. She can put you in trouble, But all right, do what you want to do. I'm gonna leave now. And he just dips out. One of the coolest fighting pieces. One of the coolest moments when he freezes the ocean. And you just see how powerful the Marines really can be. That Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro haven't really faced anything at this point like him. And here he is. He was another Logia type, so he could change his body into an element, and the only way he could hit him was with pretty much hockey. But we haven't got that far yet, so they don't know that yet. And I wonder if Luffy now fight Aokiji, how much different the fight would be. But we don't know what modern day Luffy would be like against Aokiji. But in this point in time, yeah, Luffy and the Straw Hat Crew's got those hands, but Aokiji is one of my favorite moments. Other things that I pretty much give you a rundown here. The things I like about this season is, you know, I like the Davy Beck fights. I like how it was different from everything else. And I like Aokiji. Aokiji was a different character who put the Straw Hats on their tails and got them wondering like what's about to happen here. And then to speak of that, the ending of this season, the Straw Hat Crew gets stuck on a railroad track and a train is coming on the sea, and they're like a train, and that's how the season ends. You're like, what the heck? The cliffhangers for these seasons are ridiculous, but it keeps you coming for season 8. But yeah, season 7, I like the Davy Back fights. I thought the Davy Back fights was different, unique, and then it culminated with one of the coolest moments with Luffy with a straw hat. Luffy with an afro, and he's with boxing gloves, and him and Davy Back are boxing each other. That was a cool moment. Aokiji showing up was cool. G8, when the first time I watched G8, I thought was a neat arc. The second time watching it, maybe because I knew it was filler, it dragged a little bit longer than it needed to be. I don't think it needed to be 10 episodes. I think we definitely could have had 8 or 7 episodes of G8 and call it a day. The Davy Back fights are perfectly fine. 18 episodes of the 33 are filler. And I think we could have moved. The memory one was neat little 4 episodes. That's all you really need to get that out the way. Call it a day. You don't need to have another 10 episodes of that. Then that was a good length for a filler. The G8 was a fun filler, but it lasted a little too long. The Davy Back stuff, I felt like it was good. Long as it needed to be, and then Aokiji coming in solid. But yeah, I think dislike of it was kind of the pacing of the season with the fillers. But other than that, it was fine. Like, I enjoyed everything about it. Bon Voyage is the opening soundtrack for the season. Then it switches to Map of the Heart is the second song that plays into the opener of the ending of season 7, and then on into the season 8, because it shows a lot of Water 7 stuff, and pretty much, yeah, Water 7, and that's going forward there. I don't think it showed any of, I think Eden's Down. Eden's down, I can think of it right now. But season Impel, I don't think it's Impel Down. Maybe it's Impel Down. I don't think it is. I'll get there when we get there. But at least they show part of Water 7 in season 8 with this season. Alright. Let's go ahead and get into any other thoughts, sorry. Let's go ahead and get into characters and actors, which we're gonna have actors, really more characters of the season. Alright, so we got Luffy, who's Straw Hat Luffy, the main character. Well, he's one of the main characters, because One Piece, they are a big part of the crew. But Luffy just as great as he was, still like, doesn't really think things through. Like, hey, we'll figure it out when we figure it out. We'll fight our way through if we have to, but we're just here to have fun. Let's have a good time. If we want to escape, we'll escape when we need to. He's not really taking everything as seriously unless his friends are hurt. Then he's like, all right, let's take this seriously. But for most part, Luffy's like, yeah, let's have some fun. Like in this, the first part, G8 part, he's having fun, and then when we get to the Davy Back fights, he's having a good time, and then really until he feel like his back against the wall, he's like, all right, let me take this a little seriously, and then kicking butt. But really, Luffy is just having fun, having a good time. It's more about the adventure. We'll do stuff to feel like, hey, let's have a blast one last time. I got my friends saved. I'm confident that we're gonna keep saving everybody. Nami still, she's like the navigator, and she's still kind of like sometimes the voice of reason for the crew. In this season, she's still the voice of reason, the filler. She's voice of reason for the Davy Back fight. You know, they don't really listen to her. And then when it comes to Aokiji's situation, she's more of like kind of like stand by and watch at this point. She does try to get a little bit into it, but Aokiji doesn't attack her. Then you have Usopp. Usopp is the comic relief character pretty much, and he's the scaredy cat of the group, but he's comic relief. He does a little bit in G8, but like as far as the Davy Back fight, him and Nami are pretty much like butt buddies, are tied together for most of everything, and they are, you know, kind of like brothers and sisters in a sense where they are right next to each other and helping each other out to get through situations, because they're not the strongest. They're not the they can use their wits, but they're not the strongest one to like just take out somebody with fist fighting. They have to think their way out of situations and use each other to help get themselves out of spots and stuff like that. Chopper, the Doctor, he has a big part in G8 and his doctor expertise, and then he's also a big part at the ending of all when he's saving Nami, or not Nami, but Nico, Robin, and Luffy from being frozen to death. He's using his brain and intellect and trying to get them thawed out, defrost and thawed out. Nico Robin, she is a treat at G8. She is definitely more facial, like up front, and kind of having like her own character, her own vibe. And then in the Davy Back fight, she's actually the one that masterminds for the Straw Hat. She's kind of like guiding them through and telling them the rules and thinking through strategies for them. And she and Nami really play off each other as well and have a good moment in the Davy Back fight. And then when she meet Aokiji, she's like freaking out. She's like, oh my gosh, this person played a big part of my past. And she's like breaking down and then try to attack Aokiji. And Akiji's like, okay, you're getting out of hand. Let's maybe take you out. But Nico Robin started to become more a focal point in this season. Sanji, he has some cool moments. He's still a lover boy, but he actually has some solid moments in the G8 as the shelf. He's the same person, doesn't really change. Zoro's still the same guy, doesn't really change. Just two of them are the cool characters. Zoro and Sanji are the coolest characters right now in the Straw Hat crew. And Sanji's not as much a lover boy this season as he was previously, so he wasn't as annoying, but he also some of the reason why Sanji actually some of the reason why they lose some fights, lose some matches and Davy Back matches. But him and Zoro are just cool characters, and they're the same characters, still the muscle of the group at this point right now. Then as far as the G8 characters go, you have Jonathan, who's the head vice admiral of G8. I actually like his style. He played a game of chess for the most part when it came to trying to capture the Straw Hat. He's like, I'm gonna capture the Straw Hat, but we're doing when the time is right. We're not gonna rush it. We're kind of like, he's like a fisherman. He's like, we'll take our time. When the fish comes, we'll lay the trap, we'll capture them. They do escape, but he also gets to keep G8 open. It doesn't break down like you think it does. I thought he was one of the coolest antagonists to the Straw Hat crew. Just a laid back character. You have Jessica, who's the head cook. She's a big part of it as well. In the G8 that had a really cool moment with Sanji and them cooking. And then you have Lieutenant Drake, who's a subordinate of Jonathan in the G8 arc. He is just a guy who's kind of like, hey, we gotta capture the Straw Hats. We gotta capture the Straw Hat. He's more of the like, doesn't play around. Jonathan's more laid back. Lieutenant Drake is more the one like, we gotta go. Thought he was a cool character. I thought the G8 characters were cool characters. They really added some flavor to it. Like this filler arc, they really played a big part in making this filler. And then you have the Davy Back fights, what's also considered long ring, long land arc, which everything's long here. And for some reason, I thought the Foxy Pirates, Davy Back was the name of the Foxy head guy, but he's not. He just is Foxy the Pirate. I thought the actual name was Davy Back, but it's not. I love Foxy. Foxy was hilarious. Anytime somebody made fun of him, he always like get down on himself. But anytime he picks him up, like he's like, yeah, let's do this. And then his confidence is here and there. But the crew learned to use that against him a lot of times in the fight. And I just thought he made things entertaining and interesting. And his crew was interesting. They all was different characters. And it was a change up as far as what One Piece normally is. I call him the Foxy, call him Davy Back, but Davy Back's the name of the type of fight. But in reality, he's called the Foxy Pirate, Foxy the Pirate, and he's the captain of the Foxy Pirates. thought he was cool. I thought he was a cool character. Goofy, funny, and annoying, but also very sneaky and cunning that you couldn't just turn your back against him. And the Straw Hats crew does that in one of the canon arcs. Well, Luffy does it in one of the non-canon filler arcs. And they're like, why would you fall for this again? But I thought he was a cool, fun character and a good antagonist for Luffy to face for that moment. Nothing too serious. A little light break between Skypiea and we're going to get the Water 7 arc. And then last but not least, you have Aokiji, the Vice Admiral, or Kuzan Aokiji, the Vice Admiral, and he is menacing, threatening, but relaxed, chill character that you just wouldn't expect to see. And I love the character, love the design, I love the whole thing about him. And when it comes down to it, like, he kicks the Straw Hat's butt. Like, he's a chill character for the most part, usually sleepy, tired. He's kind of lazy, but he's not lazy. He get the job done when it comes down to it. And he pretty much single-handedly defeats the Straw Hats, but lets them slide by before we go into Water 7, so season 8. But yeah, that's pretty much the crew here, the cast, the characters that you see in season 7. Any other thoughts? No, the music's great. Love the music. The artwork, animation's great. I watched the older version, it's still solid. There's nothing else there. Is this a season you should binge? No, you can definitely take your time on this and come back to it. And great time. I'm going to grade One Piece Season 7, the G8 filler, the Davy back fight, and the Kuzan Aokiji interaction. I'm going to grade this season a C. It gets a 75% from me, a C. To me, you can't really binge it through. Like, it's dry at certain points, and you just kind of like go ahead and get it over with. I like this season. I just think it was a little too long. But the moments like the Davy back fights where Luffy fights Foxy and with the afro, that was a cool moment. Aokiji coming up and attacking the Straw Hat crew and the ice guy, that was a cool moment. The G8 filler is a good filler, but it's good. It's good. It's not anything bad. It's good. But this season for me gets a C, a 75%. If you guys seen season 7 of One Piece, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys next episode when we break down series review, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.